You know, most people think attraction is about how you look, what you wear, or how much money you have. They chase after trick, script, or some kind of make a woman want them but the truth is what makes her crave you. What makes her mind her Martian wrapped was nothing to do with those things. Most nothing to do with those things. It's about energy, presence, and the way make her feel somewhere deeper, somewhere. I want to show you 5 secret moves that make her crazily. Not the fake kind, not playing hard to get or disappearing just to seem cool. Mystery is the R of being self-contained. It's the way you can be open and charming, but still give the sense that there's more to you than what she sees. It's when she feels like every time she's peeling back another layer, and yet there's still something unknown underneath. If you give her everything, your thoughts, your care story, all at once, she'll have nothing left to wonder about. And wondering is where desire lose. Mystery isn't about hiding. It's about pacing. Let her earn part of you, and she'll value every revelation that much more. The second move is presence. You'd be surprised how real presence is. When you're with her, don't be halfway anywhere else. Don't check your phone. Don't think about what you're going to say next. Just see her. Just see her. Her Funchobin feels that you are fully there. When your attention is undivided, it changes everything. The human brain crave attention like oxygen, and when she feels that kind of focus from you, her body and her emotion register it as intimacy. Register it as intimacy. But when you listen to understand, you give her a kind of safety she can't find easily. That's what makes her open up. And once she opens up, she feels that emotional connection. She opens inevitable. Because presence, so something becomes in. Because, and that sentence, spoken silently, makes her crave your company like a drug. The third move is unpredictability, not chaos, not inconsistency. Unpredictability is simply the refusal to be predictable. It's when you bring small moment of surprise into her world. A message she doesn't expect, a change in the rhythm of your tone, a sudden burst of humor when she thought you were being serious. Attraction thrives in uncertainty. The moment she feels she can map you perfectly, she relaxes. And when she feels she can map, she feels when she relaxes. To sound. You don't have to play games to create unpredictability. You just have to stay in touch with your instinct. Let your energy shift naturally. Be capable of depth and playfulness, stillness and movement. Not in the sense of control or dominance, but in the key of control or demonstration, but in the kitchen you carry when you make the initiative. A woman crave that sense of direction. It's not about you telling her what to do. It's about the energy you carry when you make decision, when you walk into a room, when you take initiative. Leadership the world, and hers, signal stability. It tells her that you can be trusted with both your world and hers. The man who waits for Kaki will always feel on step behind. The man who waits with intention, invite her to follow willingly. You don't have to be loud. Serve yourself. Leadership isn't about dominance. It's about presence mixed with purpose. When she senses that, she relaxes in your energy. And that relaxation, desire grows, because craving doesn't come from logic. It comes from feeling safe. And the fifth move, the one most people miss, emotional depth. This is what separates attraction from obsession. Emotional depth isn't about being overly sensitive emotionally. It's about being feelings. It's knowing what you feel, why you feel it, and not being afraid to let glimpse of that show. It's being strong enough to be vulnerable. Most women are used to men who hide behind jokes or distance whenever emotions show up. But when she meets a man who can hold his emotion with confidence, it eyes her differently, because she knows deep down that he's not afraid of connection. Emotional depth makes her trust you without her realizing why. It tells her that you're not fragile, that you can handle, proves her softness. A cow. And when a woman feels emotionally seen and safe, she'll crave you on every level, mind, body, and soul. You see, these 5 moves aren't trick. They're a reflection of self-mastery. The reason they work isn't because they manipulate her, it's because they awaken something in her that she already wants to feel. Women crave intensity, not drama. They crave certainty, and you create that by embodying these moves from a place of authenticity. When you carry mystery, you show self-respect. When you give presence, you show care. When you bring unpredictability, you bring direction. When you lead, you bring direction. And when you offer emotional depth, you offer connection. But here's the secret behind the secret. You can't fake any of them, because attraction is energy, and energy doesn't lie. You can memorize every line in a book, but if your tongue doesn't carry, Crazily, feel it instantly. But if your tongue doesn't carry, the only way to make her crave you deeply, and kind of man who's worth craving, that means doing the innate work. Knowing what you stand for. Knowing your boundaries. When you live from that space, everything about you change. The way you move, the way you look at her, the way you touch, the way you pose before you speak. That's when the craving begins, not because you're trying, begins not because you've become magnetic. You can't force attraction, but you can invite it. And the invitation is written in how you carry yourself. It's in the calmness of your voice, the certainty in your step, the way you look into her eyes. And don't rush to fill the silence. Most people fear silence. Most people fear silence. But when you're comfortable in it, she feels your strength. Silence is seductive because it say, I'm at peace here, and peace here, Diaz. I'm peace here, and peace is peace mixed with presence. I in peace. I just about chasing, or pleasing, or convincing. About chasing, a convincing. It's about becoming. Because once you understand what truly draws her in, you realize it's not about doing more. It's about being more. More grounded. More grounded. More aware. Intentionnel. Attraction isn't built on noir. It's built on nuance. And when you can master that balance between confidence and calm, mystery and honesty, power and warmth, she won't just like you. Not able to explain why, and that's the most powerful kind of desire there is. The thing about desire that most people don't understand is that it isn't logical. It doesn't follow rules or checklist. It doesn't care how tall you are, how much you earn, or what care you drive. Desire starts somewhere deeper in the subconscious space between comfort and curiosity. When she feels safe with you but never entirely sure what you'll do next, that's when she feels alive. When you chaz, you communicate lack. You tell her without saying it that her attention means more to you than your own self-respect. When you move from a place of fullness, when your life already has purpose, joy, and meaning, your energy shift. You stop seeking validation, and she feels that. And she feels that. Vide, siehst hast, folk. Yeah. Women can sense the difference between a man who wants her because he needs her a provoke and a man who wants her because he chooses her from a place of strengths that shows feels raw, and rarity is irresistible. Every move that makes her crave you come back to your energy. There, you come back to your energy. There. Let's talk about that. For a moment, your energy, your presence, the invisible field that surrounds you before you even open your mouth. It's shaped by your thoughts, your abi, and your level of self-awareness. Housed self-awareness. You can say the right things, but if your energy say you're insecure or uncertain, she'll pick up on it instantly. The mind is fast, but instant is faster. That's why attraction is more about vib than words. If you want her to crave you, you have to learn how to crave you. You have to learn how to regulate your energy. Breathe slower. Speak slower. Move with intention. A calm presence creates polarity, for contrast with the emotional intensity she already carried within her. That balance between your stillness and her emotion, that's where the spark come from her. The birth where the spark come from. Now let's go a bit deeper into mystery, because it's not just about what you eyed. It's about what you eyed. It's about what you will reveal slowly. The slow burn is everything when you share something about yourself, a story, a dream, a vulnerability. Let it come from a reassured script. You Pete's people swarbet. Mystery isn't performance. It's allowing her to denzali. I piece by peeps. People fall in love through discovery. Every new layer makes her feel closer, while the unknown keeps her intrigued. It's a rhythm. Show, hold back. Show again. That rhythm. If you give her everything all at once, you remove the chase, the curiosity, the anticipation. The craving disappears. But when you reveal with patience, you feed her imagination, and imagination, ons, engage in, Asian, ons, engaged, physical pairs. But energetic touche. The way you look at her can feel like evergreen in when she speaks. The pause before you inscribe, the soft humor in your voice. These things touch your mind before they. Women are emotional creatures, but because they feel deeply. Because they feel deeply. When you know how to make her feel, you've already won half the game. That doesn't mean being overly romantic or dramatic. It means being intentional. Your ton, your timing, your times, your timing, your timing, your excellence. The man who can make a woman feel something memorable in a 5-minute conversation will linger in her thoughts for days. That's the R. You make her crave you not by chasing her attention, but by becoming a sensory experience she can't forge. Now, unpredictability. Something wild about it. Not recklessness, but play. Think about it. Most people live predictable lives. Same routine, same conversation, same expression. When you bring something unexpected, you wake her up. You remind her that life can still surprise her. Cruise her, always her dis. That might be as simple as a change in tone when she least expect it. A moment of stillness. When she assume you'll speak in the middle of seriousness. You don't have to sit awake. Be pleased enough to sense the moment and shift. Naturally leave it. Close enough to sense the moment and shift naturally with it. When she can't fully anticipate your next move, she leans in. That leaning in that attention, is desire unfolding in real time. Leadership to it all together. You can't fake leadership. It isn't about authority. It's about clarity. It's about clarity. It's the key of steadiness in your eyes when everything else is uncertain. It's the way you take action without waiting for permission. Women crave that because it signals security. The masculine and feminine energy are like water and rock. It's because she wants to know your strength. Not your physical strength, but your emotional steadiness. When she push your button, how do you respond? Do you get defensive, angry, or withdrawn? Or do you stay calm, smile, and keep your center? Not keep your center, and keep your center. The man who can meet tension without losing balance earns her respect. And aunts, she respects you. That comes naturally. Because in her mind, respect equals trust, and trust opens the door to craving. Never underestimate the power of your voice, the tone, pass, and rhythm of how you speak can change how she feels instantly. Speak too fast, and it shows nervousness. Speak too flat, and it lows warmth. When your voice has weight, or when it's calm, measured, and carry key confidence, draws her in. Leisured. In. Talk about something meaningful. Slow your words when you want her to feel them. A grounded voice affects her body without her realizing it. And becomes something she remember, something she hears in her mind later when she thinks about you. Another layer of this is how you hold boundaries. People think saying, a no turns people away. You tilt when you hold. Respectfully, you communicate strength. You tell her, I'm not here to please. I'm here to connect honestly. That honesty, even when it challenge her, boudicere. Bondays create polarity. They show that you're not afraid to lose her by being real. Her but tsar. She knows the contrariness in loss makes you impossible to ignore. She knows, but it's one of the most powerful to you. That makes her feel both safe and excited anangs. A putnix that keeps her coming back. Eye contact might that keeps her coming back. Eye contact might seem simple. The way you look at her tells her what kind of man you are. When your gaze is steady, unhurried, and slightly curious, she feels seen, not judged, not analyzed. But seen, hold it, just long beat, just long enough to create tension, that rhythm, that mat, elong, and it's intense. Too short, and it's forgettable. The perfect balance leaves her wondering what you were thinking, and that wondering feeds desire. Another secret is how you manage your manage. When life doesn't go your way, how do you handle it? You stay composed. If you find humor or patience in KO, she sees emotional maturity. That maturity makes her trust you with her vulnerability. Courage. The moment she feels safe to be her full self around you, the craving begins. But she isn't just drawn to your body or your mind. She's drawn to how you make her feel about herself. Even the smallest gesture matter. The way you open a door without making anything in return. Needing anything in return. The way you notice her detail, the sound of her laugh, the words used when she's excited. Attention is the purest form of love, and when tension comes from a man who doesn't give it easily to everyone, it becomes a form of power. And because you withhold it, but because it feels genuine when you give it. It all come back to authenticity. None of this works if it's an mean of this works if it's an act. Women stand for truth. They can tell when you're performing versus when you're being real. So, the most magnetic energy you can bring is truth, unpolished, unfiltered, but grounded. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be pleased. The floors that you own become part of your charm. The con from self-acceptance is more attractive than self-acceptance is more attractive than any perfection you could fake. She looks at you and sees a man who knows himself, who isn't desperate, who moves through the world with confidence and emotional awareness. she can't help but energy. Not because you did something extraordinary, but because you showed her something rare. A man who doesn't need to chase love to feel whole. To feel whole. Depiscum self-awareness. It's not about having all the insui. It's about asking better question. It's knowing who you are beyond what you do or what you do or what you have. When you move through life, you're not seeking attention. You're not performing. You're simply there, calm, real. A man with depth doesn't rush to fill silence or dominate space. He listen, he observe. He lets moment breathe. And that patience, that peace makes others feel safe around him. It also means being willing to go beyond the surface. It's easy to talk about goals or daily routine, but true connection happen when you open the door to what actually matters. What moves you, what scar you, what you've learned along the way. You don't have to pour everything out at once. You just have to let piece of your truth slip through naturally. That honesty give her permission to do the same. It tells her you do the same. It tells her you don't have to pretend here. And when someone stop pretending, connection deepens instantly. Emotional steadiness is what gives that depth power. Anyone can be calm when life is smooth. Steadiness shows up when things get messy. It's the key of the gifty ability to hold space when emotion rise. It's choosing not to react from bogu, but to respond with awareness. When a man can do that, he becomes an anchor in any room he walks into. People feel it in his tone, in his bun, in his body language, in his timing. Steady man doesn't flinch when things get hard. He adjusts. He doesn't shut down. When others are emotional, he listens. That kind of stability doesn't just attract, it heals. It turns connection to something people can rely on. Women in particular feel steadiness on a cellular level. It tells them they don't have to carry all the emotional weight alone. They can exalt. They can exalt. So, this they can soul. At relief becomes connection. When you bring calm into Kao, you create space for trust to grow. And trust is what turns a fleeting spark into something lasting. Accepted to something, respect it all. Respect it can turn heavy and steadiness can feel these. And Earth's weights what gives creates both warmth and humanity. It's how you handle boundaries, how you treat her voice, how you handle disagreement. Respect say, I see you, not as someone to fix or control, but as someone with your own truth. It's the small things, listening when she speaks, remembering what she value, letting her finish her thought without interrupting. It's also about how you speak to her when you disagree. He doesn't reason, he speaks understand. That maturity turns potential conflict into clarity. Respect also shows up in consistency. When your words and action align, she learns to trust you. You don't make promise to impress. You make commute intent to keep. You don't say yes when you mean no. You show that your time, your presence, and your attention are valuable. That honesty earns respect in return. Because respect isn't something you demand. It's something you model. When a man leads with these qualities, everything about how he connect change. The conversation becomes more than talk. It becomes exchange. The silence becomes comfortable instead of awkward. There's a natural rhythm, a back and forth flow that doesn't need to be forced. She starts to relax because she feels. She starts to relax because where this energy is going. Depth trust turns curiosity into connection. Depth draws her in. Steadiness keeps her there. Respect allows her to grow within it. Together, they create a kind of magnetism that doesn't fade. Weeb doesn't fade with time. You don't have to be the lewdest or most exciting person in the room when you lead with those things. You simply become memorable in a way that feels grounded, not flashy. You remember the calm in your voice, the certainty in your eyes, the way you made her feel understood without her having to explain herself. That's what lasts long after first impression fade. True connection grows slowly. It built in layer of truth and passions. Shit. And you can't fake it. It grows when two people meet each other without. It grows when two people, without pretending to be more or less than they are. Man who leads with depth doesn't need to prove his worth. His actions speak for him. A man with emotional steadiness doesn't get thrown off by storm. He becomes the still point in them. A man with respect doesn't chase control. He creates partnership. When all of that come together, what grows between two people is raw. Go. It's the kind of bone that feels light but strong, simple but profound. It doesn't drain, it restore. It doesn't consume, it balance. She feels soft, not because he shelter her, not because he stand beside her, but because he stand beside her. In them, he feels filled. Not because she complete him, but because she meets him where he already stand whole. That's the key power of leading with depth, steadiness, and respect. It's not a performance or a strategy. It's a way of being. And when you live that way, connection finds you naturally. It's drawn to your presence like a plane toward sunlight steadily, silently, and with trust that it's growing toward something real. When a man leads with depth, emotional steadiness, and it's not something he demand or negotiate. It's something he nurture with the way he shows up. Every word, every pause, every choice he makes tells her, who she was. He makes tells her who he is, he ever having to explain it. He doesn't need to convince her of his worths. He can feel it in the way he carry himself. The air is where it starts. The way it's diff... Tell me. The swallow weary connection begins to grow. It's not about intellect or knowing the right things to say. Depth is the key courage to see you as your own thoughts, to understand your motive, to face what you fear, and still move through life openness. Man with depth doesn't live on autopilot. He's awake. He noticed it. Remember what mattered to people. He's not afraid of silence or emotion. His presence feels like a deep breath in a world that's constantly holding its air. When he listens, he doesn't rush or imagine. He doesn't rush to fix or to impress. He listens, he doesn't hosity. So curiosity is mine ticus. It tells her he's not just hearing her words, he's absorbing them. And in a world full of distraction, being truly heard feels intimate. Sak tio fer her yuk spi that depth structure. It's easy to seem composed when everything's going, but steadiness shows up in how you respond when life isn't gentle. A steady man doesn't rhetoric sword. He breathes. He started where. He chooses response over reaction. That the control tells her something essential. That his peace isn't fragile. And when she realizes that, she starts to trust him. But ski premis to the z. Emotional steadiness isn't coldness. It's warmth with boundaries. It's knowing how to hold space for someone's feelings without being swallowed by them. So, saying again here without trying to dominate or disappear. That kind of presence makes people feel safe enough to be honest, and honesty is where connection starts to grow roots. She doesn't have to filter her thought or shrink her emotion. She can be fully herself because she senses he can handle it. But then come respect. The power that turns a connection from something fleeting into something lasting. Respect is how he treats her voice, her time, her individuality. It's the way he looks at her when she speaks, the way he value her boundaries, the way he admire when he's wrong. She doesn't have to protect herself with defense or pride. She can lean into the space between them. Respect also means he respects himself. He doesn't abandon his principle to please anyone. He can say no with kindness and mean it. He can walk away from situation that dishonor him without anger. That self-respect is key, but it resonates. It teaches her how to treat him. It shows her he value peace over drama, honesty over manipulation, substance over spectance, substance over spectacle. And then that kind of integrity creates a rare kind of comfort. of knowing you're with someone real. When a man leads with these quality, the energy between the I'm and the woman he connect with feels differ. It's slower, but it deeper. There's less guessing and more knowing. Fashion don't need to be heavy to have meaning. Even small talk carry warmth because it's genuine. She doesn't have to search for his intention. They're clear in how he act. More she interact with the more she interact with the more she soften. His steadiness teaches her she can relax. And that relaxation, Wald relaxation, Grusien, and rush the process. He knows that genuine connection is built over time through passions, honesty, and shared presence. He doesn't. Honey simply shows up as himself, and that consistency becomes his magnetism. Over time, the connection depends not because of grand gesture, but because of gesture rely. When he holds space for her, he's not thinking about the next moment. He's fully in this one. In that kind of space, both people start to grow. She becomes more expressive, become more expressive, become more cues, more cue become more. In spirit, it they build something that doesn't rely on constant reassurance or performance. It's grounded in mutual understanding. It's strong, but it feels light. It's steady, but it breathes light. It's steady. It's steady, but it breathes. Connection like that doesn't need to be shown off. It's felt. It's the ease in a shared silence, the trust in a simple look, the comfort in knowing neither of them is pretending. When he leads with depth, steadiness, and respect, he becomes a mirror that reflects her true self. She doesn't crave on out of recognition. Because somewhere inside, she's been waiting for the kind of energy that doesn't just take up space, but creates it space where both can exist fully, freely, honestly. And that's what makes genuine connection so rare and so lasting. And that's what makes genuine connection city or control. It's about presence, patience, and truth. When a man can hold all three, patience yet to be chased, it grows naturally, Ketley, and beautifully, until one day it feels less like something found and more like something begins Kitlid. Relived, real connection, bosom brains to be. It doesn't burst into the room or demand attention. It grows in the space between two people who are willing to meet each other honestly. When a man carry depth, steadiness, and respect, his presence becomes an invitation, a signal that see you can exalt here. Exalt here. That invitation is what allows connection to unfold naturally. It doesn't rely on charm or cleverness. It relies on trust, and trust is both when can feel your calm more than they hear your words. Depth is about being. It's serious all the time. It's about being serious all the year. It's the way a man moves through life with curiosity about himself and others. This that keeps them kind. Together, they create a bond that doesn't need to be constantly reassured because it's built on something real. It doesn't rely on chemistry alone. It relies on compatibility, patience, and mutual understanding. It grows slowly, but it lasts. Means in that slow growth that both people evolve. She becomes more at ease in her openness. He becomes more expansive in his empathy. Together, they create freedom that feels naturel, steady, but a femme, steady, but alive. The connection becomes a reflection of who they are at their best, aware, calm, and respectful. That's the key beauty of leading with depth, emotional steadiness, and respectiness, and respect. It doesn't demand attention, but it come and presents. It doesn't demand this. It doesn't burn out quickly. It endure. Because when connection is built, big, solid, it doesn't just survive life's storm. It deepens because of them. When a man moves through the world with depths, emotional steadiness, and way people experience him. It's not loud or dramatic. It's key, almost unspoken, but powerful. You can feel it in the pause between his words, in the steadiness of his. He doesn't try to impress. He doesn't chase he doesn't chess. People, especially women, lean toward that energy instinctively. Not because he demands their attention, but because his presence gives them space to breathe. Depth begins with awareness. It's the willingness to look inward, to understand your own pattern, your trajet, your motive. A man with depth doesn't from himself. He faces his own flaws without shame, and that honesty shapes the way he connects with others. Sad doesn't play emotional games because he works. They has nothing to prove. When he speaks, his words carry weight. Not because they're perfect, but because they come from a place of truth. Depth truth, bulls, deep thins rustos, sin how he listen. He doesn't understand. He doesn't listen to replay. He listened to understand. He doesn't need to fill every silence because he's comfortable with stillness. That patience invites her to open up. She feels seen, not as a reflection of what he wants, but as who she truly is. When a woman feels she truly is, when a woman feels genuinely seen, she begins to trust her own voice around him. That's when connection deepens, when she no longer feels the need to perform or protect. Emotional steadiness, give depth direction. It's not about being emotionless or detached. It's about being centered even when emotionless or detached. Life will test everyone's balance. NJ, fear, jealousy, stress, but steadiness means you don't let those moments define your behavior. You breathe before reacting. You think before speaking. You give space before judgment. Control. She senses it right away when a man carries that steadiness. He becomes a grounding force. She senses it right away. His tone stay even, his eyes stay focused, his body Langage C. I'm here, and I can handle this. That doesn't just calm her. It earns her respect. Because steadiness communicate reliability, and reliability builds safety. It's what lets people be honest, even about the messy part. But steadiness doesn't mean he avoids vulnerability. It means he can express emotion without losing balance. He can't say, I'm yerk, without turning it into blame. He can apologize without sham. He can listen to disagreement without taking it as an attack. That kind of control isn't cold. It's mature. It shows that his emotions serve him, not the other way around. And in that emotional maturity, people feel secure. Then there's respect, the foundation that holds it all together. To respect isn't something you perform, it's something you practice. It shows in the smallest area. How you speak to people who can't do anything for you. How you handle someone else's boundaries. How you respond when someone tells you a no. Respect is patience when things take time. It's honesty when it's easier to id. It's consistency when no one's watching. When a man leads with respect, he set a tone. He doesn't need to dominate a room to earn it. He earns it by being fair, by listening, by treating others with key dignity. And when he brings that energy into a connection, it changes the dynamic completely.